It's on.
Excellent. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Red Room. I am your DM this week, and we will be running a scenario which I made up in like 2 hours called the Bell Accession, which is based on material in the Black Protocol, which is available for free from the Red Room store. So go and pick it up, download it, get your own inspirations on. This is a game that's going to be taking place in the universe of Darker RPG, and it makes use of Darker and the underlying Red rules. So, for the group, we have Mason Clark, a conspiracy theorist working as a research assistant at the Sickery Private Library. We have Stella Vinci, a psychic who is also a research assistant. And unusually for any investigation, because they are a very small and elite group, we have two Sickery scholars. One is Charlton Greyfriars, who is a former occultist, and the other is Claude Baker, a former archaeologist, but they are both now members of the Sickery Scholars. So, for those who are watching, a brief overview. And let me get my notes.
Sickery.
Secret.
So, Mariska Bell was the Hungarian-born chief of collections for the Sickery Private Library, a research institution for the Sickery Scholars, an organization which was created by Bell's friend, the reclusive billionaire Marion Sickery. And she created the Sickery Private Library to house and research her vast collection of the eldritch, weird, bizarre, and dangerous. She, that is to say, Mariska Bell, disappeared in 1990 in Eastern Europe. But she left a huge, unaccessioned collection of objects behind. And the time has come for the Sickery Scholars to do the accessioning that was not done decades before. Because it was always hoped she would return. And the particular items they're going to start with are ones she had set aside to accession herself. And so, welcome to Darker RPG. Welcome to the world of the Black Protocol. And welcome to the Bell Accession.
I've got goose flesh. So basically, there's a section of this library that no one has cataloged because we literally were waiting for someone for decades to come and do it for us. And then we're like, I don't think she's showing up to work, guys. So it's time for us to do it.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. As Sickery scholars, Claude and Charlton know that they had good reason to wait. Mariska Bell was not just anybody. She was one of the 12 apostles. So here's where we get a little bit into the history that you guys would know about the Sickery Private Library, and in particular about Mariska Bell. So Mariska Bell was a Hungarian exile whose family had to flee Hungary in 1956 when the Soviets invaded. She was, even before becoming associated with the Sickery Scholars, an expert on paranormal legends and the ancient religious practices of Eastern Europe. She assisted Marion Sickery in locating rare books and manuscripts from her homeland. And that's because Marion and she had become good friends because of their common interests. Marion inherited her collection from her father, who disappeared in Iraq in the 1950s. So Mariska Bell was a very important person because she was one of the 12 apostles, the original Sickery Scholars, the original board of the Sickery Scholars. And she became chief of collections at the Sickery Private Library. So she was responsible really for everything at the organization in terms of gathering new materials. And you know that beneath the Sikri Library, there are numerous sub-basement levels, and you've got not only paintings and statues and books and scrolls and cuneiform tablets, but you've got whole buildings and rooms that were disassembled in their original locations, packed up into crates and brought back.
Whoa. Okay.
Train
So
cars.
we're talking lots of money.
Yep.
Mariska Bell had a lot of wealth. It was never entirely clear where it came from. Her father, her father was very wealthy, and he was associated with numerous Middle Eastern sovereigns. He was a friend of the king of Iraq, right? The Hashemite king of Iraq. But he disappeared before the king was overthrown. So the thing with Mariska is that if there were items she thought required special handling, the scholars were aware she set those aside and handled them herself. And so she actually had a special vault for that purpose. And that's the vault you guys are going to start with. It is in section G2 of the second sub-basement level. And it uses vault doors. And they open inwards. So that is what you're getting ready to do. Charlton, Claude, Stella, and Mason are very much honored by this. You guys have been chosen for a very important job because she's been gone for 2 decades. And the Sikri scholars, despite all their resources, have no idea what happened to her. She disappeared before Marion died. So she disappears in 1990 and they leave it alone.
Are we theoretical occultists, or have we actually seen some stuff at this point?
You are freaking Satanists.
Gotcha. In that case, we're not so much scared as we are salivating at the opportunities.
Yes.
Unless we set something off, right?
Oh, please don't open the doors. It's horrible.
You guys are not theoreticians. Both Claude and Charlton have Ritual Magic 3.
Okay.
And Charlton also has Occultist 3. You guys are serious. You two especially are serious hardcore magicians. You're into this. Now, Mason and Stella are those necessary experts who the library does have. And given the right circumstances, the good luck and opportunities, they could be considered for the Sikri scholars themselves at some point in the future. So Mason and Stella are definitely going to be, here's your motivation. You guys want to be Sikri scholars too. To be a member of the Sikri scholars is to be paid a stipend. It's to have access to the collection. It's to be admitted to the second highest circle of the organization. The only circle higher is the board, who are all Sikri scholars themselves. So it's kind of a big deal because there is no other institution, at least publicly. We're not really talking about the Arcanum or the Sentinel Initiative here, but there is no other known institution that has the level of occult and eldritch research that this outfit does. So now, what is Charlton and Claude's motivation? I think that should be obvious.
Get on the board, right?
Yeah.
Marion was a big deal. If she chose to put something in this vault, it's important.
We must find it.
Right. It's a combination of powerful and dangerous, and we need to find the powerful without tripping off the dangerous.
Knowledge
Here's
is power.
the other thing
Knowledge is power.
In the period of time since the Sikri scholars were first founded in 1967, and then the library was built in 1971, 50 members of the organization have perished. You are aware of this.
Perished as in
Died in horrible and grotesque ways.
Okay.
Oh, so is advancement in the Sikri scholars very Klingon in nature? I mean, are we arranging accidents for board members in order to take their spots, or
Probably.
It's not really. It doesn't really work like that because you guys.
Gotcha.
I mean, it might be happening. You might be trying to do that, but it's a dangerous thing to do because everybody in the organization who's a scholar has access to, let's say, to the same stuff. So it's kind of like a fight between what were those two guys from the Golden Dawn? One of them was Crowley, and there was this other one, the guy who founded it, and they were supposedly sending Tibetan thought form monsters to attack each other.
Yeah. Well, when you get in a Tulpa war, I mean, everyone's taking drugs, so you know.
They were attacking each other with spectral tigers. So,
essentially, the Golden Dawn had a moment where they were throwing Yu-Gi-Oh cards at each other, like I cast Ice Demon. Like, no, you can't. But for now, I want you to know, Charleston, that you are my dearest friend. Ever.
BFFs, BFFs.
I would never use
until you aren't.
The scarlet bands of Sidorak against you. So,
well, so you don't have to make much effort because I'm old, you know. Anything.
So here's one of the benefits of being a Sikri scholar. If you will take a look at the Brabazon Incunabulum in the Black Protocol, you have access to any ritual in it, irrespective of your magic school. A Sikri scholar is cross magic.
Nice.
So if it's in the Brabazon, so really you're kind of your own kind of ritual magician if you have ritual magic. You don't have to. You could just be an occultist. Because
we're the worst kind. We're the academic, right? I think you'll find that chaos magic always uses radical the fourth one.
But you're kind of a new group. You're a Brabazon magician. Anyway, so that's where we are. And now you are on the second sub-basement level to save your feet, your heels, whatever. You guys have gotten into one of the little electric carts on this level. And you have gone down one of the access hallways. And it takes a couple of minutes because these sub-basement levels are surprisingly large. But, you know, places that like store train cars and stuff tend to have to be that way. And you eventually arrive at G2. This is an area. The lighting is very moderate. It's very quiet here. Very few people ever have a reason to come down here. This is on a weekend, so the place is a little isolated. You figure there might be some other scholars around and some research assistants, but they're probably mostly upstairs on the above ground levels. The lower levels are only accessed when necessary. But it's not a big deal because Charlton and Claude have their cards, and they can open anything they've been authorized to open on this level. And before you, with the plate identifying the vault beside it as G2, you see where it still has the slightly faded sign, accessed by permission of Chief of Collections only, which you know you can disregard, and a little key card reader. And what stands before you is a solid steel vault door.
How big?
It is a little bit larger than what you would expect. It's not a double door. It's a standard vault door.
Round?
But it's probably every bit of 7 feet tall and 3.5 feet wide.
So like, and the facilities here, the electric carts and things like that. Is this sort of maintained from the time it was built, or do they refresh the tech and stuff? I'm guessing because there's swap cards that they maintain.
Their security is very good, and they do try to keep up to date. Originally, they didn't have these electric carts. That was something that came in the 80s, and they've been keeping it up to date since then. And so the one you're riding in, it might be a decade old. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a golf cart that somebody brought
Yeah,
indoors.
as long I don't have to walk. For me, anything goes.
So at this level, the walls are solid stone. They're very smooth, but this is all very, very nicely laid stone. And then you see the inset vault door and the clear indication this is G2. And there is the card reader.
Charleston, do you prefer to do the honors?
Just one question: Do we know how many feet are we under the service level?
If you were on sub basement 2, you're probably at this point at least 100 feet underground.
Okay.
It's not like the above ground levels. They're not necessarily directly on top of each other because some of the vaults have higher ceilings than others.
And is this the deepest it goes, or is this?
Oh dear, no.
Okay, gotcha.
No, this goes deep into the Florida limestone. In fact, they constantly have pumps running to keep water out.
Okay.
This is a place that cost a lot of money to build. There are small governments that wish they had a place like this.
Hey, our government wishes they could retire more people with a place like this.
Oh, okay. So, of course, my dear friend Claude, and I'll pass my card through the card reader.
You hear a voice come from the card reader. You don't see a speaker, but this card reader is very new and up to date. You figure it's a small built-in speaker. It says, "Welcome, Charlton Greyfriars. You are approved for access."
That's Dr. Charlton.
Of course I am.
Oh,
Open sesame.
Doctor doesn't mean anything.
That's true. That's
are
true.
a Sickery,
Yes.
You are a
past
Sickery
that
scholar.
now.
You are a Sickery scholar, buddy.
I will sort of be hovering close to Charleston, being very protective of him because he's so frail.
Yeah. Oh, yes, because of that, really. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
My goodness, Charlton.
Hey,
So it's opening.
you guys hear a sound like metal. It's not super loud, but you hear a slight sound of metal parts moving, and then a distinctive clank. And then you hear the voice come from the ID. Yeah, you hear the sound come in from the card reader again, and it says, "The door is now open. It will be closed again in 45 seconds."
Dang. Okay.
Claude, could you do the honors, please, and open the door for us?
Does it not swing open? If not,
It does not.
Grab it.
No.
Okay. I'll grab it and start pulling it open, and I'll hazard a look at Mason like, would you be so kind as to aid your efforts?
Actually, when you go to open the door and you start opening it, you realize it's power assisted.
Oh, well, in that case,
so it is a massive door. It is like 8 inches thick, but you have no difficulty opening it.
There's a part of me that wants to impress the newbies by saying like, "Give me the strength of Cider Rock," but I'll wait and impress them with actual skill later. Well, that turned out to be easier than one expected. Please, everyone.
Thank you, Claude.
Once you open the door,
Charleston.
Once you open the door, you start to hear a countdown from the card reader. 44, 43, 42.
I'll just run inside.
Oh! He just rolls through the door, grabs his hat on the way through. Oh, he's sprighter than I thought. I'll take up the rear and close
It's
it
dark.
behind us, although I suspect it'll close itself.
It's dark inside, or dimly lit, or well lit?
It is, in fact, reasonably well lit. There is a light on either side of the vault door. So you have stepped into an entryway. The floor is delicately inlaid, very fancy inlaid, black marble. This is an expensive floor. Ahead of you is a vault door similar to the one you just entered. And there's also a vault door to the left and to the right. There are two large, comfortable Tiffany leather chairs sitting in the upper left corner and the forward right corner on the other side, either side of the door ahead of you. The room itself has only these items. It's clearly an entryway of some kind.
Yeah.
Is there any plaque near the doors?
There is not.
Like
Miguel, can you pull up that image, by
2.1?
the way?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can Miguel pull up the image that you sent?
Oh yeah, guys, do we have a way
Yeah,
to show that image?
Yes.
the little
I was
vault
actually looking at
doors
that
are really
image.
nice. They're very Art Deco and
Oh yeah, it is.
It's maybe Art
It's super
Nouveau.
fancy. It is. It's super duper fancy.
I guess we're sort of used to this sort of presentation, though, right?
Yeah. You guys are kind of used to this being a top tier place. A lot of it is old, right? Because much of it was built in the early 70s. But it's well maintained, and it was very nice when it was made.
Yeah, and I'm noticing that the room seems maintained, and I'm like, I'm like, she's got like fart elves or something running around.
So no, you don't see any excessive signs of dust. Of course,
Right.
dust is usually produced by living things, right?
True.
So, you
I'll
notice
feel
that
the weather to see if it feels dry or if it's maintained.
it's supple. You recognize that these are very expensive chairs. You don't know the exact brand, but you would imagine that
Tiffany is probably not a bad guess, right?
yeah, they're very nice chairs, extremely nice. The wood is clearly very rich mahogany, and you suspect it's the real deal. It's real Honduran mahogany.
Do I know which door should we proceed to, or we don't? I don't have the.
Well, now here's the thing. This was Marion's. This was Mariska's exclusive accession vault.
Okay.
So no, that's the great irony. All you guys know, and this is based purely on the floor plans, is that each of the three doors inside this entryway, aside from the fourth door that leads you back out of the room that you just entered, there is a room behind each of those doors. And Mariska had everything set up with her own system, but what that was, nobody knows. Because she was chief of collections. Nobody questioned her.
Is there a tradition or precedent that people would ward or in other ways sort of self-secure the things that they put inside the vault, or is the vault itself usually sufficient? Like,
well,
do we suspect
there's no tradition of it?
Traps or alarms?
Okay, I'll check for traps.
There you go.
Yes.
Your conspiracy theorist jumps forward.
Yes.
Yeah, anyone that would go to the trouble of summoning something to maintain her furniture might also summon something to maintain.
I will go for
privacy.
search traps.
Okay. Let's see. Do you? So you do have technical. I see that.
Yeah, technical, yes.
Go ahead and do a technical roll, man. Tell me what you got, and tell me what you're checking.
I will 14.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
14?
14, yes.
Okay, so is that the total including your? Because I would have you add your wits bonus and your technical bonus, which is one level, right? So
Yeah.
is that the total? Is 14?
Yeah, it's not much, but
So I assume, are you checking the door ahead or one of the doors to the side, or what are you checking?
I'll check the one ahead. Yes.
It just seems like a standard vault door. Um, you notice that it opens inwards. That seems to be the pattern. Everything opens inwards. And you don't see anything unusual about it. It does have an older key card reader on it. Um, you know, depending upon how long Charlton has been here, I mean, you can tell by looking at it, this is not as new
Yeah.
as the one that lets you into the vault.
Okay.
This is clearly an older key card reader.
So I'll approach the door on my right
Okay.
and use my card again. Try to use my card again.
You don't hear anything, but you do hear a very distinct metallic clink.
Oh, nice. I'll push the door.
You do indeed push the door. This does have some weight to it.
Oh, and I'll just be. Can someone help me?
So this is not an assisted door, but then
Yeah.
again, it's not as massive as the outside vault door
Yes,
either.
but it's heavy anyway, right?
I'll
It
help
is
put a
heavy
shoulder
anyway.
to it.
And you guys open it, and that now you are seeing, in place of the nice black marble flooring, you see granite tiles.
Mhm.
And you can see that you're in some kind of storeroom. So, Charlton, since you're in the lead, I'll describe for you what you see.
Okay.
To your right, you see what looks like a number of small animal cages. They look to be empty. There's also a number of different portraits and paintings on the walls near you. To your right, there's 3 of them. There is, to your left, a lantern, which the minute you opened the door, it popped on.
Mhm.
Everything seems to be working.
Okay.
And you see what looks like some kind of animal skin rug, maybe, on the floor.
Mm.
The lighting is sufficient but dim. It's not well lit. It's modestly lit. You can see there's a number of items in this room.
Okay. So as I enter, I try not to step on the animal skin on the floor, and I'll go directly to to see the paintings and portraits, to see if I can recognize anyone, if there are portraits of people or the location or anything about them.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I'm going to start mapping the thing out on my tablet, and I'll start recording my notes. So I'm like room designated A on chart, and I'll start reeling off an audio list to myself of what items are in the room.
Okay. Let's see. So what do Stella and Mason do?
Before stepping in, I want to do something. First of all, I'm going to be wearing gloves because I don't want to touch anything without me wanting to touch anything. So I have soothsayer and I have divination as a specialty. So I'm going to take out a crystal pendulum before stepping inside of the room, and I'm going to focus and do some screening. It's crying that it says, right? Behind, in front of each door, to see if I have a feeling of something awful that may happen to us or to anybody in the group in any of those rooms.
Make your D20 roll. Let's see what skills do you have? Do you have occult?
I have occult with a divination specialty. So
Okay.
I rolled a 19, and this is intelligence or wits?
In this case, it would be wits.
Yeah. Okay. So I have 2 in occult. Well, plus the one. Can I use my soothsayer, my +2 for vision for
Yes,
prospective
you
events?
can in this case. Yeah.
So I had a 22.
Very good.
22, no, 23. Yeah.
All right. Take a fear point.
Oh,
You feel an overwhelming sense of terror. You see a vision of a nightmare thing reaching through a mirror towards you. And when the vision ends, you are left with a hollow, dry feeling of dread. Like every good thing inside you has been drained from you for just a moment.
oh, for just a moment. Oh, so you've only
You
glimpsed
guys-
a moment of what it is to be a Sickery scholar.
You guys hear her yell. And
Oh,
I'm
Damn it.
behind, so Miss
Damn
Finchie,
it,
what's
the psychic's yelling. That's a bad sign.
yeah.
happening?
Be aware of mirrors.
Yeah, I hate mirrors. We should go back, maybe.
Oh, don't.
I'll make a note in my audio log.
Yeah.
Expert suggests avoiding mirrors for the nonce.
Don't worry, Miss Finchie. Don't worry. It's not our first rodeo. Right, Claude?
Also, exactly, and most Sickery scholars can't face themselves in a mirror anyway.
Yeah.
We're decades beyond that.
Okay. So, what you guys doing now?
So, any of the what are the paintings and portraits about? Landscapes,
Okay.
people, monsters, mirrors.
So you are on the side. You notice that there's a lot of them. In fact, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 portraits or
Oh.
paintings in this room.
Mhm.
One of them is quite large. There are a couple others that are kind of moderate sized, and then there are several smaller portraits of people.
Mhm.
Let's see. What is your? Let me double check.
My
your
what?
skills? So you have
Occult.
occult, investigation,
Yes.
knowledge.
Knowledge
Okay.
and
So let me
necromancy.
make a suggestion. Go ahead and do an occult roll.
Mhm. With the intelligence or with?
This would be with your intelligence.
Oh, so
Oh.
it's 0.
So you're playing Who's Who.
Yeah,
See if
basically.
oh, that's old
Yeah.
Frankfurt.
Yes, precisely. So I have a 0 from the intelligence, a 3. I got a 7, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you find interesting about this is at least one of the portraits
Mhm.
is of an individual who you believe to be a Hungarian hermeticist who was burned for witchcraft in 1794.
1794 hermeticist.
Yes.
Any
A Hungarian
relationship?
hermeticist.
Any relationship to our benefactor?
In fact, his family name was Bell.
Bell
Rodrigo Bell.
Bell Book and Can.
Oh,
Rodrigo Bell. And yes, he was burned for witchcraft.
Mhm.
You were not aware that there was any portrait of the man. You recognize him from the description.
How does he look like? What's his appearance?
He has very saturnine features. He wears the kind of heavy mustache that a Hungarian nobleman.
I was going to guess huge mustache. So.
Yeah, he does. He has a big mustache, long hair, hair.
Mhm.
And he kind of, it's almost like he's glaring out at the portrait, you know.
Yes, that Vigo.
Yeah, there's a little bit of the Vigo going on. This is, now there's nothing about the painting itself that jumps out to you otherwise, but it's a very vivid and very realistic image of somebody that you know by reputation was a very, very bad person.
Is anything else on depicted on the portrait like like there is some kind of shadow, another person, some kind
Yeah,
of
burning castle in the background.
jewelry, something like that. Nothing. Anything written on the canvas?
Since Stella gave you a warning about mirrors,
Mm-hmm.
you notice he's holding a hand mirror
And
in his right hand,
okay,
but nothing reflects in its glass.
it's dark. It's dark or not, or it's like a
Oh.
normal mirror but with no reflection.
It has no reflection. It's
Is
just
it
dark.
onyx?
Well,
Like
it's hard to
a
tell. It's a
summoner or
painting.
scrying mirror or whatnot?
I was about to say it's hard to tell. It's a painting,
No,
but
good point.
that's not a bad guess. That's something that, with your backgrounds in ritual magic and the occult, that makes sense to you. Maybe that's a scrying mirror. Looks like it's a simple design, but it's clearly gold and maybe either silver or platinum. It's very fancy.
Okay.
And of course, what you can see of his clothing, because it's primarily a portrait of his head and upper shoulders, is what you would expect to see of a nobleman or aristocrat in Eastern Europe in that period of time. Nothing about what you're seeing surprises you, other than the accuracy of the portrayal, the intenseness of the gaze, and the fact that you're surprised that there's actually a surviving portrait. Because like I said, the only recognition you have is that somebody did like a drawing of one of his portraits that survived, but every actual portrayal was supposedly destroyed when he was burnt for witchcraft.
Is it framed? Is it framed, the portrait?
It is, and it's a very nice frame too. It looks
older,
but it's in very good condition.
It seems from the same period as the portrait, or it's more recent, the frame.
You suspect it's original.
So I'll do one thing. I'll have some gear with me. I'll put some gloves that I'll probably use to manage some older stuff. So
when you go to the bathroom.
Yes, like that.
I'm guessing it's fair to say that we'll all be wearing gloves.
Yeah. So I'll put the gloves on, and I'll pick up the painting. It's small.
It's too heavy for you to pick up, and it's
oh, okay. So it's hanging on the wall, right?
Yeah, it's definitely secured to the wall.
I have
you could get it off if you wanted to put the effort in.
Sorry,
you would need. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, our mission is to catalog everything that is there, or just that, or bring back upstairs something that we consider particularly interesting.
So what you are doing right now is you're accessioning. So your job is essentially to get an inventory of everything there.
Okay.
Begin the process of identifying it, and then categorize it. It wouldn't actually be now possibly Mason and Stella. It would be your responsibility ultimately, but usually Sikri scholars don't actually do the work of moving things around. So
and the other paintings are also portraits of.
Yeah, here's Charleston pawing on the walls like a peasant.
So yeah, the other paintings look like they come from various periods. If somebody wants to do a knowledge check related to the past,
yeah, this seems like a me thing.
Go for it.
It's up to you, Claude.
Alrighty, knowledge 2. Does my I'm guessing my relic hunter would kick in as well. So.
It should.
Ooh, 18.
Okay, that's good enough. The TN was 15. So, yeah, you're quite certain when Charlton asks you that this is all Eastern European in origin, all these portraits. Now, you don't necessarily
I'll start boring him. You can see from the crenulations of the framework that...
I'll kill myself.
Yes, that was so much easier than I thought it was going to be.
Backstabbing begins already.
Yeah, I'll try to look like I'm quite interested on the babbling.
Oh man, are you just If I sense that you're playing along, I'm going to be.
So Stella
Nope,
and
I don't.
Mason, do you guys want to do
I
anything
want
in
to
this
check
room?
the cages. You said there are some empty animal cages.
Mm-hmm.
There are.
Uh,
They're immediately as you come into the room on the nearest wall. So you take a look at them. There's nothing in them that you can see. There is a weird smell around them.
hmm. Yeah, if I hear her rattling, I'll probably break my reverie long enough to say, before you do too much with them, look and see if they were opened or if they were put in here closed. Also,
I'm
maybe
going to
see
look
if
at
they're dead
Mason.
animals.
Say, well, I think you are the cage expert.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you take a look at them, and they're very strange. They're the kind of cages you would use for small animals. That makes sense. But they have very fine mesh. In other words, they're not just little wooden cages like you might have birds or a
Mm-hmm.
ferret or something like that in for transport.
Hmm.
They're definitely of an older pattern. I mean, there's no plastic here. This is all wood, but they're metal reinforced, and they have small mesh in the open spaces. Like something needs to breathe, but you definitely don't want it getting out.
Hmm.
Seems very odd. You've never seen animal cages quite like these.
Maybe they're capturing fairies or something like that.
Or gerbils. Gerbils will escape from anything given time.
And when you check them, you do determine that they are, in fact, all open.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Oh no, you're already in trouble. There you go.
Oh, and the animal skin on the floor. What is the animal?
Go ahead and make a knowledge check. Do you have knowledge,
Yep.
Charlton?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you sure do. Go ahead and make your knowledge check.
Intelligence or wits?
You know what? I'm going to give you a choice. You can make a knowledge check using your intelligence, or
Mm-hmm.
you can make an occult check using your intelligence. This would actually
Oh.
qualify for
Oh,
either.
Oh,
I'll
so this isn't a
so
bear or a tiger.
so I'll do an occult.
It's a bayaki.
Oh, 22.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
You are deeply uncomfortable because while you cannot be
Yeah.
absolutely certain,
Yes.
this could possibly be the hide of a Wendigo.
oh,
What?
Here, I'll put
man.
it in the chat.
Yeah, this chick is putting this stuff on the floor for a rug. Yeah,
Yep.
this place is going to be scary lucrative. I mean, interesting. I mean, catalogable.
Yep.
You're a bit mystified by this, Charlton, because you have seen materials relating to the Wendigo in the library, but you've never seen an artifact like this.
The part of the skull is intact.
Yes, it is, but there are no eyes, and you notice the teeth have been removed.
I'll touch it.
It actually feels very soft. It's almost like a bearskin rug. It was kind of massive. You would guess whatever was wearing this at one point in time was probably every bit of 4 meters tall.
4 meters. Jesus.
And probably at least 2 meters across.
Oh, big.
The head is massive. The jaws are massive, even without the teeth. They almost look like they were designed to unhinge like a snake's jaws.
Hey, Claude, did you notice this rug? And I'll wink him. Wink at
I'll
him.
look down and assess it from home. That is
Do you recognize the animal?
I'll
So,
look at the
Claude,
skull. I'm
you can use.
I'm assuming a Wendigo is fairly humanoid looking, right? So I'm like, oh.
So you can use your knowledge
Oh,
for
he's
this,
just
and you
testing.
actually have a little bit better than he does. You have knowledge too,
Yeah.
since
But
he's
the
playing
relic
games and
hunter
isn't telling
probably
you.
doesn't come into play here,
Not in this particular case, no.
right? 15.
You don't know as much about it as Charlton does, but you realize to
Which is
your
why he's
shock.
asking me. Yeah.
Yeah, you realize to your shock, you could swear this is what a Wendigo pelt would look like.
Yeah. I will be like, tell me you don't think that's a Wendigo.
I'm telling you, this is a Wendigo.
I told you expressly not to tell me that. No.
No, we have to kill them.
I will use my faux shock to let him start describing it so that he never realizes that I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
up to speed.
Quite impressive, right?
The fact that it is being used as a floor decoration makes me
Yeah.
think that the remainder of the cataloging will be interesting to say the least.
Yes.
This is not a small room that you find it located in. The room itself, I remember somebody said that they were, and I can't remember which of you it was, it may have been Claude, said you were kind of mapping the room. So
Yeah.
the entryway
Yeah.
room you entered was like 10 by 15. You know, it's a good sized entryway room, but I mean, it's nothing that would stand out. But this room is like 3 times the size. And the ceilings throughout have been pretty tall. They're about, I mean, we're talking about 3-meter ceilings.
10 feet.
So they're pretty high,
Mm.
and they have to be because you notice that like there are crates stacked up in here. At least one of the portraits is actually full length, and so it has to have space. There's a storage. There's a storage shelf that has some scrolls that are like rolled up, like almost like you guys would like to recognize that there's like 2 scroll rolls and they're rolled together. There's pottery, on the shelves, but there is this enormous pelt on the floor. Yeah, it's quite big.
And since this is a preliminary suite, I'm just going to take periodic photos on my tablet and just attach them to a folder for each room that we're cataloging for us to go back through and do a more thoroughgoing identification.
So, Mason, you are in the room, correct?
Yes, I am.
All righty. Can you give me a search check?
I rolled a search only.
You know what? You can use investigation.
Okay. So
If you have it, you do.
I do have investigation, and
You have 2 levels.
yeah. So rolled a 12.
You notice something on the wall in the back corner. Now there's what looks like a broken statue with what maybe the head of the statue lying at its feet, and there's a shield or something leaning up against the wall by it. But above the shield on the wall, you see something like a dark oval that doesn't reflect light.
It doesn't reflect light. Okay, I'll try to approach it carefully.
Okay. So as you get closer to it, you realize that there is a black mirror on the wall.
No fuck.
It is. It is about. It is an oval, about, you would guess, 3 feet tall and 2 feet wide. It is not small. It is in a very finely figured metal frame, but right off the top of your head, you can't tell anything about the style. it is very elaborate. And the weirdest thing is as you approach it, you can see nothing in it. There's clearly a glass or stone or something, but it's not reflecting anything.
And it's inset as the shield of this statue. Is that what you said?
No. The statue is near it. There's a headless statue. The statue itself is man-sized, and it's standing on a small pedestal, but its head is missing, and it's laying on the floor in front of it. And then on the wall, this is like on the same wall where you have the shelves. This is on the other side of the shelving. So you guys say you guys entered from the, let me use directions. You entered from the west. This is the eastern wall. So in the far back corner on the eastern wall is this black mirror.
What's the size? What size is this mirror?
It is about 3 feet tall by 2 feet wide, and it's hanging on the wall at a height sufficient for a typical human to be looking right at the middle of it. So it's mounted a little higher up on the wall.
I'll throw some object against the surface and see what happens.
Okay. Miss Vinci was right. We're going to die here.
Yeah,
So
two academics gasping is probably the immediate result.
So everybody hears a distinctive tink.
I
presume
what?
you probably I assume you had some change. Mason had some change in his pocket.
Yeah.
So you took out a penny or a nickel or something, just tossed it at the mirror, and you hear this distinctive tink, and it bounces off.
My God, man, what are you doing?
Checking what happens.
I'll run towards the mirror and see if anything is if the surface is cracked.
The surface is smooth, extraordinarily dark, and completely unmarked.
Any writings on the frame of the mirror, or any symbols on the frame of the mirror?
When you look closely at it, the finely figured frame of the mirror contains lots of small figures. It's not entirely clear what they are. It's like little beings, vaguely man-like, but they're all either cavorting or, mingling or doing something. It's just, and there's just these little figures that seem to be carved into this metal frame.
So it's like little marginalia sort of carved.
Yeah, almost like something you'd see in an illuminated manuscript. The little nonsense animals that they would have in an illuminated manuscript.
If I notice the head, does it look like the head was transported here? Or is there rubble where the head fell off after it was brought here, or is the head set there as though?
Yeah, since you're an archaeologist, I'd just tell you that you can tell that this is an old breakage. Okay. There's no dust or little pieces of rubble.
So it's not like something reached out of the mirror and tore the head off this thing.
Not that you can tell.
It could be a neat freak. It's like, I'll snap the head off now. Clean up the rubble. Set it ever so carefully in the corner. Yeah,
so there's this. The breakage looks eroded. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. I'll just have to see what they do with Charleston's head to see if it's something that.
In my years as a satanic cultist, did I hear or did I learn or read something about a mirror like this?
You have a choice. You can make an occultist roll using int or a ritual magic roll using int.
While he makes that roll, I will lean over to Stella and go, in your professional capacity, are you used to warning people and then have them completely discount your warnings?
Yes, it happens all the time.
Unfortunate.
So I have occult 3 and I have Keeper of Secrets, which is +2 to occult, right?
That's correct. And understand that depending on which one you use, you may get a different result. So ritual magic will tell you things about, how might this be used in actual magic? But a cult
Okay.
will tell you, well, what legends or deep knowledge might be associated with this. But you'll need to make one or the other because it's really a
Okay.
question of where you decide
Okay.
to kind of do your
No,
digging
no, no.
within your mind.
But my question is, I have a code 3, but then I have a feature which is Keeper of Secrets, which is +2 occult. So I have +5, or I have to choose one of those.
You have +5 if you use occult, you're +3 if you use ritual, and in both
Okay.
cases, you're using your intelligence.
Okay. Thank you.
But you will get different information,
Yes, yes,
slightly
yes,
different
yes.
information, depending upon
Yes.
what you choose.
So I'll try and use ritual magic. So a +3.
Okay. Now, bear in mind, Claude doesn't have occult, but he does have ritual magic.
So can I ask him for his help to gain?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So Claude, can you come here, please? And
Can I look at the mirror with you?
Not
The
looking at the
mirror,
mirror, but
Charleston. Think
Not-
with me what we've learned recently about mirrors.
not look at the mirror, but see the engravings around it. Can you help me with that?
I suppose
As a fellow,
if we are careful and do not gaze into the reflective surface,
yes, we are
that
not
would
gazing
be-
at the reflective surface. Don't worry.
I will consider that an act of safety, and yes, I will help him.
Okay, thanks. So I have a +1 from his help.
You certainly do. And he may be able to add
Oh.
to your knowledge.
I rolled a 19. Let's see.
Then you have succeeded.
Yeah. Okay.
He does a roll. Okay.
And now Charlton can roll with advantage.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
okay. So I got 19 also.
Okay. So, Charlton, you know that black mirrors with onyx glass are frequently used for scrying and for certain rituals that are designed to connect to other worlds. This mirror certainly looks like a mirror of that kind. What bothers you is that those mirrors, their surfaces, though they are not mirrors in the usual sense, are nonetheless reflective, and this one isn't. It's as black as the pits of hell. And then you think about that for a moment, and it kind of sends a chill down your spine. So,
Okay.
Claude, you are looking at it, and you start talking about how, yes, this
Yeah.
looks like a scrying mirror and all that. But then you remember that there are certain rituals that you recall where the use of a black mirror is not just associated with scrying, but with summoning.
Right. Well, D, and I'll of course, you remember your deity. He used an onyx mirror, much more crude and simple design for his experimentation. And boring.
Yeah. So another item of interest.
Storing this item in this way seems almost in the style of a trap.
Do you think? Okay. Well,
I think that she may have been more protective of her obscurities than is usual.
do you think this mirror was used to bring something over here?
At some point, I'm sure that was the design of the item. Was it used within the vault? One would hope not. But this place is remarkably well kept, Charles.
Yes.
So I assume that there are more than a few things loose. And then I'll point at the cages and go, and if there are not skeletons at the bottom of those cages, I suspect that some of them may be animal in nature.
Yeah.
while they are distracted, I'm going to call Mason
That's a
and
good
tell
way of
him
putting it.
we need to be careful about those two scholars.
Yes, they are very strange people.
Yes, and not careful, and they probably will try. Well,
Kill
to
you?
put us ahead.
So,
They probably will try, to put us in danger to save themselves if needed.
so when you accepted the job to come into a undisclosed location warehouse full of occult ritual paraphernalia and help us decide whether or not psychically they would kill us, that wasn't the giveaway. It was just hearing us talk to each other.
Yes, yes.
And exactly when I said, let's be careful of mirrors, and then you go, oh, that's interesting, let's touch this.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, they're not careful enough handling this shit.
Well, and you said
So
that there were also two scrolls.
Oh.
there are a couple of large scrolls that are on the shelves. One is on the very top shelf,
Mm-hmm.
and one is on the bottom shelf, and they both have scroll wraps. So that's where you have like the scroll at each end is wrapped around some kind of metal or other thing. If you've ever seen a Torah scroll in a synagogue, they oftentimes have them set up like that. They'll have basically two scroll wrappers, and so the scroll is not one cylinder; it's actually two cylinders being wrapped
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
And so there are two of them in there. And there's also several items of pottery and small figurines on the shelves. And sitting on the floor beside the shelving is a couple of what looks like sacks.
Hmm. I'll reach for the scroll, the scroll that is
Are they
lower.
Crown Royal bags? Because this could either be dice or booze.
They're quite large, actually. They come up to about your knee, um, and they are bound and sealed.
Oh,
Hmm. Hmm.
perhaps for an initial run through, we should.
Tatinha.
Thank you.
For an initial run through, perhaps we shouldn't
Yeah. Not
open
disturbed.
these.
Yeah. No writings. No symbols.
The two bags each have a number on them and a
Hmm.
location. So the first bag has the number 135, and it says on it Prague. This is in English.
Mm-hmm.
The other one has the number 3113,
Mm-hmm.
and on it is written
Sorry.
3113,
Mm-hmm.
and the location written on it is Sofia.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder if it's just soil samples.
Does it seem like there is some kind of the content is like dirt or sand, or is more,
So tell me what you do to figure that out.
A couple of thumps on the side of the bag.
Feels very solid.
But not granular to the
Yeah.
not like it's not wheat or soil or.
No, it seems that the sacks, whatever they are, they're kind of full of whatever it is, and it's kind of dense.
Hmm.
It doesn't really yield, not to casual slapping it around. It's almost like kicking a tire.
Okay.
Any number of things, but
Yes. But okay, let them begin.
would Prague and Sofia both be places that her antecedent in the picture have lived or operated?
Well, Prague was was in what is now Czechoslovakia.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think so? Sofia, definitely possible.
So he was from Hungary as we know it now, not the Austria.
Right. He was from the heartland of Hungary. what is now the Hungarian state.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically Wallachia and parts of Transylvania. Yes.
Well, there you go.
So it's
my
we have
my
Dracula
guess
here.
is that these may be soil samples.
Yes, probably
For
rock
the
or
necessities, as it were.
and did I mention I want to see what the scrolls? I want to I want to inspect the scroll that is on the lower part.
Okay. So this scroll looks like it may be parchment instead of
Mm-hmm.
paper.
Mm-hmm.
It is approximately 2.5 feet long in terms of, not unrolled, but rather it's quite heavy. And you think there are several leaves to it. Do you just want to open it up right here on the floor?
Let me think. It's not sealed, right? I can open it
This is not
easily.
sealed. It does have two golden cords tied around it. Like most scrolls that have these kind of things on them to roll them up, this has kind of a scroll wrap on it,
Mm-hmm.
and but you can untie it, or at least it seems you can. There doesn't appear to be any seal or label on it.
Okay, so I can do that on the shelf, or the shelf is too small to do that.
This is a pretty big scroll. You think the shelf is too small. In this room, at least, you would have to unroll it on the floor. Now, there are in the upper, and it's like I'm looking down on the map. There in the opposite corner from the mirror, over by the large portrait, there are two wooden crates stacked on top of one another. Quite large crates.
So I can try to use them as a table?
You could, but you would have to unstack them. Other than that, the only other place for you to roll it out would be on the floor.
So I'll do it on the floor. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you unroll it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
very
what you see
easily, very slowly.
So what you see are unseals, unseal letters. They look a little strange. What languages? Let's take a look. What languages does Charlton know?
I don't know.
So you do not have the requisite skill, nor are you polyglot. So you know English.
Mm-hmm.
This definitely does not look like English. It's not written like English either.
Mm-hmm.
I have linguistic proficiency too.
Okay. So what languages do you know?
I'm thinking. I was looking how many languages could I know with level 2.
To be honest with you, I have to check that myself.
Yeah, I was checking. I don't think it has that. Let me see. Apprentice, fluent in several languages, competent translator. It doesn't exactly have a number. That's why. Let me see. As a rule of thumb, you may multiply the level by 2 to get the number of languages. So if it's 2, it should be 4.
Okay. So what 4 languages, ancient or modern, do you want to know, in addition to English?
Mm-hmm. Well, Latin.
Okay.
Russian.
Okay.
Arabic.
Okay.
And I need one more.
German, perhaps. It's also good.
Yes, German.
Greek.
Or Greek, yes, German or Greek.
So you said Latin, Russian, which means you know the Cyrillic alphabet.
Yes.
Arabic, and what was the fourth one?
Let's go with German.
Okay. So you take a look at the scroll that Charlton has unrolled on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very old. You recognize it is using the Cyrillic script, but it's not Russian. It is some other Slavic language. If you had to guess,
The Hungarian, probably.
Hungarian.
the Hungarians write their language in
No,
Roman.
no. Yeah.
Yeah. No, if you had to guess, you would think that this might possibly be Slovenian because it's a cognate language of Russian, but you're not sure. It's definitely not
We're out of
Russian,
our depth here, people.
but it is written in Cyrillic.
It's a
So-
Slovenian scroll. It almost certainly starts with attractive incubi in your neighborhood want to meet up for a fast reunion.
You're going to make me generate an image, aren't you? Anyway. I promise not to do one like the one with all the eyes in her back.
Oh,
That was that one was really disturbing.
It's
I
got
cursed you
that.
by sharing it.
What's the fear of holes thing called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That it's got
It was
a
a
bit
very
of that
similar, it was a very similar vibe because it wasn't holes exactly, but it was so abnormal.
going. Yeah, just eyeballs, right?
It was just ugh.
So
Anyway.
I'll thank you, Miss Vinci, and I'll roll back again the scroll.
I'll take a few images of it from
Yeah.
the archive.
Is the other one
So,
reachable or
Claude,
is okay?
Claude, you have linguistic proficiency 1.
I do.
So, what are your two
I'm-
ancient or modern languages?
I'm going to think I'm probably going to go with cuneiform and Greek because
Okay.
maybe
makes perfect sense.
hieroglyphics if
Yeah.
I can sneak it in.
So that makes perfect. Yeah, cuneiform. So let's assume that you know. Let's assume you know ancient Akkadian, because that would be pretty useful to an archaeologist in the Middle East, and of course Greek, because that was also useful to an
There's a lingua
archaeologist in the Middle East.
franca before Franco was the lingua franca. of the
Exactly.
lingua franca.
Exactly, the Hellenistic world. So there you go.
Sorry.
And of course, Claude says, I don't recognize it either.
Yeah.
So
Let's try.
But it's not uncommon for occultists to use one alphabet for another language in order to obscure the text. So
that is also true.
What I find most interesting is that I'm a former occultist that only knows English. But anyway, move along. Move along.
that means you read only Thelema. You're
You could be a former Thelemist or other Hermetic guy, because almost all that's an English translation, at least.
Yeah.
I bet you've read a lot of Yeats in your life.
Yes,
Sure.
of course. I'll go for the other scroll.
Okay, that's on the top shelf.
Can I
It is
read?
also heavy.
Okay.
Are you going to try to get it down by yourself?
Mr. Clark, can you help me over here, please?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Mason,
do we
would
have-
you please?
Oh,
Go ahead.
Sorry. Do we have specialized software or anything to help with this? Like, if I'm taking pictures,
I'm glad
can
you
I
asked.
map
You
that?
guys have very
listen.
nice, all four of you have very nice, top of the line MacBook Pro laptops of the latest pattern, which include the high resolution camera, access to a dedicated artificial intelligence created by the Sikri scholars themselves.
You can ask ChatGPT to translate the documents. Just translate it.
to aid in accessioning. So you could theoretically make a computer use roll and see if you guys can.
What literal as well as figurative god awful name have we given our AI?
Oh, it's called it's called Crypt AI.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We'll, if I'm taking pictures of the scroll, we'll see. Yeah, if the AI has a guess on what it might mean.
Okay. So go ahead and make your roll on your. If you have technical, you can use it. Otherwise, it's just an untrained roll.
I do. Is anybody better at it than I am?
Technical. Oh, I don't have technical.
I have technical.
So
Yeah,
Mason has technical.
I rolled a 16.
Okay.
I'll ask
So Mason-
also for a drawing of this translation if it was a woman with big boobs. Yeah, it has to do.
Yeah.
Given the training set that the Sickery library has, you're going to get a really, really evil looking image.
I was about to say, be careful what you ask for. You might actually get it, and then it comes out.
You have a 50-50 shot between, blasphemous image and, really nice Greek sculpture.
Yeah, sure.
You're probably going to get somewhere in between.
Boobs will be nice, at least.
Yeah. So, the AI, as it typically does, it kind of lets you know that it's thinking, if you want to call that thinking.
Mhm.
It's a large language
and-
model.
Yeah.
So it comes back to you, and what you get back is that it is indeed Slovenian, as Stella was thinking. It is able to identify the style of the Cyrillic as being 11th century, and it appears to be, oddly enough, a lectionary.
A what?
A lectionary. This looks like it may be a Slovenian text of the Slavonic Bible.
Oh.
And Charlton hands remain unburned. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. Did Mason make that strength check to help Charlton? And Charlton should make one as well to get that
Oh.
large
This is going-
scroll off the top shelf.
Yeah, of course. This is so. I have a 7. It's -2 or 3 to the roll.
Your strength is 7, so it is a minus -1.
-1.
-1.
Oh, 5.
And Mason only needs to hit a TN10 to help you anyway.
Okay. Nice. I failed by 1.
Is there
I rolled a 9.
What?
I rolled a 9.
Roll a 9.
I'm a weakling as well. Not as much as you.
You were a little distracted by the scroll that you just checked on the floor, but anyway, because you kept expecting big boobs and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So Charlton, what did you get?
5.
Oh, well,
Yes.
you guys fail.
Yep.
You guys go to get this heavy thing off the top, and you just blow it. It falls down. So each of you roll an agility check against TN15.
Okay.
There is a grimoire in Europe that has killed 3 people by this sort of misadventure. Like, literally, one of them it fell out of a tower and killed a guy. Like, there's precedent for this.
I got an 18.
I rolled a
Okay.
50.
I rolled an 18.
You don't have to worry about it.
Ah,
You're
yeah,
close
yeah.
enough.
It doesn't reach you.
So
Not
Mason
being
and
crazy,
Charlton,
you don't have to roll.
so Mason and Charlton kind of jump back, and you miss the thing as it falls to the ground. It hits it with a thud. It is a boom. It hits the ground.
Breaks?
Well, it's
Or
still
some-
wrapped in its scroll wrap. You don't really know.
Okay, so I'll push Clark aside, and I'll run to it and start opening very slowly, very gently, to see if anything is damaged.
It is possible that the scroll wraps themselves have now been dented, which really disappoints you because they appear to be made out of gold. They look really nice. But of course, gold is a soft metal. And one thing you can tell, this is a big scroll. It kind of unrolls a little bit, and you can see that it is an incredibly beautifully illustrated, very nice, clear script. The text is just gorgeous. The vellum itself is super pale and creamy. It's just everything about this says money.
Okay.
And the text is a Latin text,
Latin.
but Charlton does not recognize the language.
Okay. I'll call again. Okay. Hey, Clark, can you do the? Can you do? I'll try to do myself. Try to translate
So
with the tablet.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna
take.
tell him I do know Latin, you know.
I will take a few pictures and I'll start recording my notes. Like second scroll found in damaged condition.
Yes. You know Latin, Miss
Yes.
Vinci. So you tell us what it is?
So
it
I
is in
wrote.
fact, it is not just the Roman script, it is in fact Latin. So
Oh, Vini, Vidi, Vici,
Vici.
I think the way
E
linguistic
pluribus
proficiency
unum.
works, you don't, unless it's something really complex
Yeah,
or
don't need to
code,
roll. Yeah.
there's really no need to roll.
A male,
What
a
you are
mar,
reading is a grimoire, but it's an unusual one because it also reads like a diary. And you're realizing that it is written by a gentleman who calls himself Rodrigo Bell.
Oh my gosh, this guy
Oh
gets
no.
around. Hey, also on the other scroll, is there any occult value in encrypting a Bible? Like, is there some reason why he might have, intentionally obscured a Bible for some
No,
purpose?
it's just a
It's
Slavonic
just a
Bible
it's
written
just a
in
weird,
Slovenian
just a weird
using the
choice of
Cyrillic
Yeah.
word.
script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using the Cyrillic script. It's actually perfectly ordinary. It's
Oh, I
just very
gotcha.
old. It's just very old.
Yeah. It's the first
This is a
edition.
little weird. It's clearly a much newer scroll than the other one. Although calling it weird, I guess it depends on your point of view. In this room, it probably is not the weird part. The Bible
So
is.
it begins, dear house upon the hill, and the repository of the letters thereof. I always believed that these scrolls were mischievous and full of lies until it happened to me.
It might well begin with something like, well, I, Rodrigo Bell,
Yeah.
hereby place a curse on anyone who reads this other than myself.
Ah, dang it.
And he's capable of translating this.
But no, that's not what it says. It's clearly a grimoire. He makes references to spells. He makes references to ritual objects. You don't recognize anything in there, though, Stella, because, of course, you are not a ritual magician or an occultist. Do you want to try reading it out loud for the others?
Yes, I will. Because I do have
Okay.
some occult.
Oh, better. Read it out loud while staring at the black mirror.
Right. I'm going to wait with rapt joy to see her face when she gets to that place a curse upon the soul of any who reads it. Also, those are not legally binding, right? As an occultist, like we know that's just to scare the kids off.
Yes.
So you begin to read, and it, Claude, Charlton, you can both make ritual magic rolls.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See if you recognize it.
Oh, 12 for me.
For me, it's 16.
Okay. So, Claude, you're not really quite sure. It doesn't remind you of any of the rituals that you are aware of from the Brabazon and Cunabulum. Charlton, to you, this sounds like it could possibly be necromantic.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever made this was clearly some kind of black sorcerer or black magician. This is very old stuff. It's a variation on things you have heard of and you have seen.
So you're saying that justice was done when he was burned as a witch in Hungary?
I don't know that you guys ever doubted that.
Yeah.
Based on what you'd heard, he probably deserved it, yes.
Hey, yeah, when you live that life, you know you're going to get burned eventually. Am I right, Charles?
Yeah.
Give me some knuckles.
Yeah.
Give me some occultist knuckles over here.
Yeah. Sure, pal. Sure. So basically, this room is Rodrigo Bell fan base club, something like that.
This is
Probably.
his personal. This is his personal work, right? Like
Yeah,
the stuff he came up with in his life, probably.
yeah, probably. Yeah. Is
Which means that
anything
his great granddaughter probably was well aware of it as well.
is anything else here?
Oh yes. Aside from the sacks, there is various items of pottery and
Oh, pottery. Yeah.
small statuettes still sitting on the shelves. There is the statue with the head sitting at its feet, or at its base, I suppose you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any fur on the pottery?
No.
Good, because Harry pottery would be way
Oh,
more.
Oh God, no!
do. And of course, there's the crates.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crates have
And then there's
marking
the
a bill of
shield.
lading or anything.
And the shield. Yeah.
Yeah, the shield that sits below the mirror. Yeah.
Okay. So let's start.
Don't
Okay,
you
you.
want to take a picture of that shield and do a search in the internet to see if they recognize?
Oh, you
Well,
don't have internet access.
Yeah, not the internet, but our local.
Yes,
Yeah,
your
our
local-
local database. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. And make a technical roll.
Who's doing that?
If you have technical.
I don't have technical. I'm just suggesting.
Okay, I rolled
Okay.
technical.
Okay.
I rolled 13.
Okay. So the AI comes back and says that it's clearly a shield of Eastern European pattern, but beyond that, it doesn't have any information.
I'll go and try to see if there are any engravings, any symbols on the front part, on the back.
Is it,
Is it,
is it a coat of arms?
yeah, is it round? Is it a round shield? Is wood, metal?
No, it is actually kind of a rectangular shield.
Tower shield.
Ah,
A tower shield.
And it has a metal. It's made from wood, but it has a metal banding around the edge
Mm-hmm.
and a metal boss.
And what?
A metal boss. The
Okay,
symbol.
yeah.
And looks quite old. Looks
Mhm.
like a balls.
it looks well used.
Okay.
There's a symbol on it. The symbol is looks like two black dragons facing each other.
Would that possibly be the crest of the family, the Bell
Yeah.
family?
Not that you're aware, but
Gotcha.
Does this symbol reminds me of anything?
go ahead and make a knowledge check.
Knowledge. Okay, let me see. Knowledge.
Isn't there a country that has two?
Yeah.
Oh no, they're not dragons. They're
They kind, yeah, griffins, yeah, something like that. Is it wits or intelligence?
In this case, definitely intelligence.
So 16.
Okay. It's enough for you to recognize that this is probably actually a working fighting man's shield of some kind. It's definitely of an Eastern European pattern. You don't recognize the symbol of the two black dragons, but this was an actual fighting shield. It might be something that was at some point mounted on a wall or laid on top of somebody's tomb. You're not sure. It's just leaning up against a wall here beneath the mirror.
Beneath the mirror. Okay.
as a working hypothesis. I would think that the items in this room are all connected to particular ancestors.
To this to the Eastern European region and to this person, to this Rodrigo Bell.
The name
one
Rodrigo
thing
implies
that
that he may have come to Hungary, correct?
Rodrigo, yes, that is an Italian name,
Mm-hmm.
although it was not unusual for Hungarian noblemen to take foreign names.
Ah, gotcha.
What was Stella gonna do?
I'm going. Something I forgot to ask before. The mirror in the wall, is it similar to the mirror that Rodrigo has in the painting?
Mm,
The mirror that he had in the painting is a small hand mirror. This is quite a large mirror. You'd think this is always meant to be mounted on something. Do you take a closer look at it? Or are you doing anything?
yes, yes, do that. Do that.
Look at her. Look at her waving that hand. No, no, no. You
No,
don't get
no,
to
no.
take advantage of me drinking water. No. Okay.
So, yes.
There's a possibility here, just for giggles, we could do a selfie with the mirror so that we're not looking into it directly.
Do you want to take a picture of the mirror?
I mean, at some point we're going to have to catalog it, but
Okay, so you are going to take
but
the
we were explicitly
picture
warned
of
about
the-
it, so I think we will just make mention of it for now and leave that for
Okay, it's better.
better prepared individuals.
I would say that at some points it probably would be better to put some words on some around some artifacts before you investigate them, right? But you are the
Well, at the very least, I think we should put some cloth over it.
Or perhaps the Wendigo
Sometimes the
belt.
best ward is just obscurity.
Okay, next you want to try the pottery, Claude?
Yes, well, we'll make a note of it at least. Is it intact or is it?
The pots are intact. Some of them have tops on them, like cloth that is then bound with cord to kind of seal the top.
Mm-hmm.
Some are not. Some just are pots.
Smell them. Smell them.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, give it a whiff.
Most of them don't seem to have much smell at all. One of the ones with a cloth top has kind of an odd smell to it, not terribly pleasant. You don't really recognize it.
Okay.
Someone pooped inside.
No, I would recognize that. I mean, I see what you did. Very well played, sir. Very well played.
Yes, somebody chose to preserve Rodrigo's last trip to the.
Yeah.
It turns out it's Rodrigo's. What do they call those things?
The not soil.
Yeah.
Rodrigo. It's a magic item.
Oh dear. Ideas for another day. Anyway.
Okay, so exits from this room. Did we just go back to the foyer, or are there other exits?
No, the only door out is the vault door that leads back into the entryway.
Then let's head back for now. I think, unless.
So the only thing missing for us to catalog are the crates, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I forgot about that.
Is there any
Markings. Yeah.
markings or labels on the crates?
There are indeed. There is Cyrillic, stenciled
Again?
large Cyrillic letters on the side. There are also a number of stamps and labels showing that they traveled through various countries.
Okay.
Is there any sort of bill of lading that says what the duty mark for how they're described?
Not on the
that
crates
purpose?
themselves, no. And these crates are quite large. There's two of them stacked, and they reach nearly to the ceiling.
Oh. Wood crates, right?
They are wooden crates.
Okay.
They are wooden crates, and they are in very good condition. No gaps.
I tried to I'm going to reach for one and try to tuk tuk to see if it's full or has some air inside, any kind of echo.
It sounds kind of like, rapping your knuckles on a table or a desk.
Okay.
It's just the sound of you tapping on wood.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make a note of them since they're
Yeah.
going to have to be carefully
I'm going to take my
taken up so that they don't fall to the ground.
I'm going to take my glove off slowly, and I'm going to touch one of the crates to see if I feel anything
Oh,
Very
spiritual.
interesting.
She falls and
That's an
dies.
interesting approach. Go ahead and roll your psychic abilities.
Okay. Well, I didn't have a very good roll, so it's just 13.
Okay.
14. 14.
Yeah. You're just not certain. You're still dealing with what you felt earlier. You don't feel anything particularly. It's almost like here's how you think of it, since your character's a psychic. It's almost like somebody sounded a foghorn in your ear, and now you're trying to listen to the sound of tinkling bells. You're just not quite getting it. You're still
you
hearing
got to
the
get your
after
second
echoes.
night vision back.
What happened when she touched the crate?
At this point in time, nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. So it's safe.
I don't know. I don't think it's safe. I just can't
This-
read it properly.
This is why we had the outbreak of letter bombs earlier in the year. If the psychic says it's okay, it could still have a bomb in it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's carry on.
Okay, let's go to another room.
Yeah. So now it's left and forward, basically.
So we started on the right. Try so the next is the center one, the one in the center.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys exit the room. Do you leave the vault door open or closed behind you?
We will
Close.
Okay. All right. Once you close it,
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
once you guys all enter the entryway and close it, you hear a distinct click, which indicates that it is automatically locked behind you.
Okay, nice. Try now the card on the next door.
Yes. Who wants to use their ID card?
No, you use it, Claude. Use yours.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll press my card to it, and then I will. While I'm doing that, I'll ask Stella. Were there remains of animals at the bottom of the cages?
No.
Okay, they're all outside. They all fled.
It's there's another possibility, but I would feel foolish to say it aloud.
So, but one thing, the cages were what? Rabbit size, dog size?
They were suitable for, in terms of size, they could hold a small animal. Small. We're talking, rabbit.
Okay.
Maybe even a cat wouldn't have a lot of space, but
Okay.
it can hold small animals.
Okay. Birds even.
Yes, birds definitely.
Yeah.
Bats.
Well, what do you have in the small animals, or it could be something related to Western Europe folklore?
All right. Yeah, soul cages or something like that. But I will key myself into the center door while we're discussing it.
Alrighty. If you guys want to discuss what the cages might mean, and somebody wants to give me perhaps a knowledge or an occult roll to see if anything comes up you can think of.
Let me try
Yeah, I'll
occult.
do a knowledge.
Although occult. 14 for me. 15. Sorry, 15.
15. Okay.
Yeah.
I
And,
rolled an occult and I had 19.
oh,
I
very
rolled-
good.
I
How
rolled
dare
11,
you?
So,
How dare you?
So, what Claude get?
an 11. So,
Okay. So nothing jumps out at Claude. They just look like, animal cages to you. Charlton, you have a vague recollection that, small cages can be used to hold all kinds of things, including
Yeah.
creatures that might be considered like familiars.
Okay,
No.
like cats.
Or
Bats.
bats,
Yeah.
or little small
Yeah.
animals.
Owls, maybe.
Yeah. So Stella, you seem to recall, as your time as a research assistant there at the Sickery Private Library, reading about creatures called homunculi. And it occurs to you that based upon the description, that is a perfect sized cage for these little magical creatures called homunculi. What you can't quite understand is why the fine mesh would be necessary. That part confuses you. But the more you think about it, the more you think these were not ordinary animal cages.
And the animals would be dead anyway.
Oh, by far, yes. And yet you didn't see anything in them, and they were
any
open.
remains. Yeah. So they escaped.
well, now I think they're the cages that contain, quote unquote, whatever is keeping this place going. Right? Like that's the staff housing.
Yeah, probably. They were removed.
So,
Well, no, they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
But the little creatures in the mirror, they could be. It was in the mirror, right? That they
Yeah,
were.
they were
the frame
engraved.
around the mirror.
Yes.
Yeah.
They could be. They could be homunculi.
Well, now that's a very interesting question. You think about it for a minute, you think, well, it could be. I mean, they were little, vaguely humanoid figures. Something about their portrayal seemed a little off to you, but perhaps they could have been a portrayal of homunculi, yes.
And would that fall under necromancy in terms of the rituals involved? Like, could that
It's
scroll be
actually traditional conjuration. It's ancient hermetic magic.
Okay.
Alchemy, right?
Exactly.
All right, so let's go into the center room here and see.
Yeah, when you hear this distinctive clank, which you have learned to associate with it opening these internal doors. And what you do, who goes in first, second, third, all that good stuff.
I'll push in the door since they apparently take a little oomph to move, and then I'll go in first with my taking pictures and such.
Okay, so the floor in this room is the same as the other. It is a smaller room. As you enter, a couple of 4 lamps in the room do flicker to life. They take a little bit longer than they did in the other room. You do see some signs of a little bit of dust in here. On either side of you, as you enter the room, you can see there are 2 large floor-to-ceiling corner bookcases. And they are loaded with all manner of volumes and papers and all kinds of stuff. There are also 2 large glass cases facing north to south with a kind of a little walking area in between. The windows, the glass looks frosted. You think that these are very large display cases of some kind, such as you might see in a museum. To your left-hand side, there is a stack of papers or parchments or something. They're not scrolls. They're just papers, you think. And then on the far wall, In between the two display cases, there is a mirror like the one you saw in the other room.
Okay. Okay, mirror again. The light, the color of the light in these rooms is what? Yellow, white of the lamps.
The lamps are clearly in the warmer range, not the brighter range.
Okay.
This is not like this is clearly older lighting. In fact, for all you know, these are basically the same kind of lights that they had. Because remember, she disappeared before.
Yes.
You know, you think these are some kind of halogen bulbs?
Yeah, filament lamps. Okay.
Yeah, filament. They're very yellowish.
Yeah, yellow.
So it's a very warm light. It's a little dim. I mean, there's light. You can definitely see things. But it's clearly not the kind of light like you'd examine something closely with. It's not like a blue-white light or anything like that. It's not. It's not natural spectrum. It's definitely warmer.
I'll take a look at the bookcase.
Okay, so you have one on either side of the doorway. Which one do you look at first?
The left one.
Okay, so you take a look at the one on the left. In order to examine it properly, you'll have to shut the door because the door kind of blocks one of the shelves. This is a corner bookshelf, and so you've got one side that faces towards the back wall, one side that faces towards basically where the
Is there
door
a card reader on the inside?
Yes.
No,
No.
but
Check the right one then.
But the door does have a large latch that it looks like you would put a hand on each side of it and twist it, kind of like a doorknob or a.
Okay.
So we could close the door against a bolt so that it didn't lock.
So
Okay, then we'll do that.
In principle, if there was something inside the vault room, it could open it from inside, right?
That's true.
Okay.
That was true in the other room as well.
Yeah. This entire area has had the vault openable from the inside, right?
Yeah, that's nice.
Correct. Only the outer door doesn't open from the inside.
Oh, I thought it opened, swung
Yeah.
in. So.
Yeah, it swung in, and then when you walked in, it shut behind you.
Yeah.
But it actually has a card reader, so you can flash your card to get out as well.
Okay.
And the answer and the reason why is obvious. If somebody were to somehow get in
Get locked.
who shouldn't be there, you could theoretically, like security, for instance, could theoretically lock it down and you couldn't get out.
Mm-hmm.
You know that some of the vaults have this as a basic security measure. There's some of the vaults where you don't know from personal experience, but you've been told whatever's inside, they don't necessarily want it getting out.
So let's close the door and for Clark to see what's on the shelves.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Somewhat nervously, you shut the door, and
Yeah.
It's fine. Nothing untoward happens. You see the lever rotate and hear it click as the door locks back. And
the lights go out or no?
No, they stay on.
Okay.
So Mason, you take a look at the shelf and you see a variety of books on the shelf in all different sorts of bindings. You see a number of papers and small scrolls. Do you want to do a search or investigate to see if you find anything interesting?
Investigation, yes.
Let's go.
Is my pattern recognition, which gives me a 3 bonus investigation roll. Is this?
Yeah, if you are specifically looking for some connection between the items on the shelf,
Of course, I am a
yes.
conspiracy theorist. Everything has a connection.
You wacky tinfoil hat guy, you.
Okay, so we roll a 14.
Okay, you rolled a 14, so if you add your wits to that and your +3, so it's okay. So, yeah, you look at that and you immediately recognize all of these are connected. These
Of
are
course they
very
are.
these are very old books in English. They are all talking about alchemy. You see books that you would see at certain libraries. You see Fraser's Golden Bough.
Hmm.
You see the witch cult in Western Europe.
H.P. Lovecraft would have loved this bookshelf.
But you also see books that Mason, you've heard of as a conspiracy theorist, you've heard of as a researcher in the occult, but you've never actually seen one. You see books that talk about Dr. D's Alchemical Secrets, which was published in London in 1931. But was limited to a run of about 500, and most of those disappeared into private hands. Most people don't know where they are. But these are all old alchemy books. Some are illustrated, some are dense with texts, and you see some small scrolls that have various formulas in them. You see papers piled on the shelf that appear to be fragments of books that perhaps lost their bindings. And so all you have is a few leaves here or there, what they call, there's a specific word for it when you bind a number of
Lucy's.
bind a number of pages together. I think they're called scales. I don't recall exactly. But I mean, and this is all alchemical stuff on this particular side of the bookshelf.
Okay, I'll give a look to the right one.
So a 1930 publication date probably means that some of this stuff is her stuff.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know. But
Or
it's
did you
a
say
lot
1830 or?
Oh no, 1931.
Okay.
So this is old stuff. You'd say going back as far as the 1890s, when a lot of this began to become Hermeticism and alchemy became very popular.
Mhm.
Once again, among a certain set in London, you notice a lot of the books were published in London, but there are some also that were published in New York. But these are things a scholar would love to get their hands on. I mean, some of these are rare books. They are just not widely available, and they probably have some inherent value.
Would we have them elsewhere in the library?
Yeah.
It just in maybe
You don't recall
editions?
seeing some of these volumes. I mean, like the Witch Cult in Western Europe or Fraser's Golden Bough, definitely. But these look like, of those, these are like rare first editions.
Those two books are like truck stop reading for occultists.
Of the other books, you don't recall seeing these in the main shelves or hearing about them being there.
Gotcha.
So yeah, definitely the chief librarian will be very interested to know that these exist. So this is what you found on the inward-facing bookshelf side. Do you want to look at the one that faces into the room?
Yeah, that makes sense.
On that same side?
Yep.
Okay. So Mason, do you want to do your investigate to find patterns, or does somebody else want to do something, or what do you guys want to do?
Okay, I can investigate the other bookshelf.
Okay, you're investigating the other bookshelf. All right.
Yeah.
Roll your investigate.
Let me see if I have investigation. Yes, I have. 18.
Okay. So you don't have Mason's special skill at spotting patterns, but you do notice that this particular section of the shelf appears to be a set of histories. Some of them are not in English, so you don't recognize them, but the ones that are all history books, but they're very specific to Eastern and Southern Europe. So, Mason, did you want to do the investigate on the other side of the one you've been examining?
Yeah, let's do that as well. I rolled 11, so +3 +2, it's 16. Right?
16.
Okay. So, Mason, what you're seeing again, it seems to all be in English, but this time, it's about freaks.
Freaks.
Freaks. It's about medical curiosities. It's about strange medical conditions. It's about mutations and diseases that produce physical changes. All that kind of stuff. It's about very famous freak shows.
And it's still geographically focused on her area of expertise, right?
No, actually, this is apparently everywhere, just like with the alchemical materials.
Gotcha.
It's not focused on region. There is certainly material on Eastern Europe there, but there's also material on Japan and China and the United States. A lot of it is illustrated and looks kind of creepy. There's several books on cretinism, the dietary disease and that was a bad disease that afflicted Eastern and Southern Europe very heavily up and through the 19th century. But it's also, the biographies of dwarves and people with various deformities. And so it's a very specific collection, but that's the pattern. And I believe there is one side of the right side shelf left.
Yeah. We'll let Mason do his thing again.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so this time it's a 23.
Jesus.
Oh, wow. You did a really good job this time. Oh, you're definitely seeing a pattern here. Even though you don't necessarily recognize all the languages present, you get a decidedly creepy feeling. This is about secret societies and organizations. And these books, some of them date back as far, you think, as the 18th century. The bindings are old and cracked. There are several biographies of people who were associated with secret movements. There's books on the Black Hand in Sicily. There's books on the Bavarian Illuminati and Idem Weishaupt. There's various books on Freemasonry. But there's also a book on modern movement, the Golden Dawn. There's a book about the Ordo Templi Orientalis. There are several books by Crowley. It's all secret societies. It's all some of it is biographical, some of it is autobiographical, and some of it is simply historical. There's something on witch trials. There's a book that you find, Mason, that is nothing but a list of people condemned, tried, and executed by the Spanish Inquisition. A long list of names. You didn't even know something like this existed.
None of them were expecting it.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
No, we find the one person that was. We're like, oh, I didn't expect that. And then we can all look at the mirror and wait. Yeah.
So, yep, that's what's on these particular shelves.
Yeah, I'm gonna catalog like crazy. Just general idea of what all's here, and
A
make
good
sure I just sort
collection.
of get pictures of the spines and stuff.
So there are two large glass cases, right?
There are. There are. It's kind of
There,
like something that you would see in a museum if they want to let you see things. And they're like kind of like tabletops that they put an enormous glass viewing shield on so that you
Mhm.
can't get to the items inside. The glass looks frosted from where you are.
I'll,
And there's one. Go ahead.
no, sorry, and
No, I was just going to say they are almost, they're about 3 meters long by a meter wide. Um, and the table part itself is roughly at waist height. And the glass dome that is over them, which has metal reinforcements, you would say adds another foot to it.
so I'll approach those to see if they're the content.
Okay, you walk over, you can't actually see inside them.
Hmm.
The glass is very dirty and
Hmm.
almost like it's frosted.
I'll take out a flashlight and try to see with the beam if I can see better inside.
Yeah, it's almost like whatever is inside this, there's something on the glass that blocks viewing inside.
Um,
Both
yeah,
of
let's take out a handkerchief and see if it's on the outside or the inside. Like if we do a little, scrubbing,
yeah.
can we clear out a viewable patch?
Okay.
And if failing that, we'll look for if there's like a latch or whatever to swing the display up.
Yep. So you try to clean the glass. It is quite grimy. Your handkerchief will come back dirty. It doesn't really help though.
Oh, so if this is a display case, is there any plaque around it to say to with any any writing?
So what you see is that there is a latch, a single central latch on each of them. Each of these latches has a metal seal. In other words, it's metal wire twisted around. And it has a seal sealing the wire
Hmm.
such that you would presumably have to cut it
Okay. So
to actually open, because it's a fairly thick wire. You'd have to, in order to open the glass, the glass tops, you would actually have to cut the wire. The seals themselves have symbols on them.
Okay, what do
And
the symbols look
yeah.
like?
You guys know what you need to do.
Okay. Occult. Right.
Yes, occult, magic, either one.
Okay.
I'm 12, so I'm unlucky.
14. No. So I have a plus. So 19.
Okay. These are clearly, Charlton realizes immediately these are protective wards.
Hmm.
You've seen
Okay.
these
So
you've
yeah.
seen these in grimoires before.
Yep.
These are protective wards. They're meant to keep something from fiddling with the seal.
So it's better not to mess with it. Let it be.
I hate not knowing what's inside, but yes, for preliminary investigation.
Unless you want
Yeah.
you want to try your luck, be my guest.
Is it a luck thing, or is it something where we would have to do a counter ritual to disarm them?
Oh, you could simply break the seal, remove the wire. I mean, these wards would not stop you.
Are you tempted, Claude?
Apparently, the way that was described.
Yes, I know.
Well, you do realize that's one of his. Oh, that reminds me.
What?
Doggone, I completely forgot. You're both cursed. Guys,
Yes.
go ahead and make a.
Oh yeah. Yes. I have
I
that
should have
here.
had you do it at the beginning of the session. I'll do it now.
Target number 12, wits, right?
Yeah, a wits check. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's me and
That's just
Uh,
you and Charlton.
Do we have to get higher or lower?
You have to beat the target number.
19 for me.
Okay.
it's our wits.
It's a wits check.
12 is a plus nothing, right? So
Right.
so I've got a 7 on the die.
Okay. So you now need to roll a 1 die 6.
What's cursing us, by the way?
The fact
Or
that you're
just-
Sikri scholars.
Oh, God, okay. We came pre-cursed. I
Yes.
rolled a 3.
Okay. So, Charlton, today the curse is not in effect. Claude, you are basically at disadvantage. So you have to roll twice on any check that today
Ugh.
during this session and take the lower number, but you don't know that. And just to let you know, your character does have the reckless drawback.
Yes.
So if Charlton,
Which
and
I've
he
not
did,
been playing very
Charlton challenged you. Charlton challenged
yeah,
you.
Yes.
So
I
guess
checked.
what you get to do
see.
now? You get to
I get
roll
to do-
to see if you can resist, and you have to take the lower roll.
Yep. Oh wow, the low roll is a 3, so I'm guessing I do not resist. What the crud? So,
Charlton challenged you, and it's like, yeah, I
Chal-
want to do this.
Yeah, challenge accepted, right? Hold my beer.
yeah, I will. I'll take out a set of wire cutters and
Okay, as I see this, I'll just stand back.
I'll say, on behalf of Charleston Gray Fries, whose will I am doing.
So Stella and Mason, what do you guys do? You see Claude
no,
break the seal.
Yeah, and I will actually say that, but I'll wink at Charleston as I say it, and then snip the wire and start opening the case up.
Stella, make a d20 roll.
Uh-oh.
Oh god, weird that.
Rolled an 18.
You hear high-pitched and tiny laughter.
Oh, that's not good.
Little homunculus laughter, like now we get to do whatever we want to him. And what
So,
we
Claude,
want
when
is depicted along the edge of every mirror.
Claude, when you break the seal, you smell a distinctly foul odor.
Oh, gross. It's a buffet. Oh, it's been here forever.
Homunculus.
But you do. You smell a very foul odor, and then it goes away.
Oh, never mind.
Homunculus farts.
Yeah. Homunculus. HR is going to come in here and scrub the HVAC system.
All those little guys getting stuck in the AC system.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull the wire out and after a moment just sort of hold my breath and open up the case.
Okay, so you open up the case, and was this on the left side of the room or the right side?
The left.
Okay. The case comes up. You do hear a creak from the hinges, which are metallic, of course. And before you, you see a desiccated corpse. It is dressed in the rags of what once were some finery. And it seems to be wearing something like a wreath of golden leaves on its head.
It's Rodrigo.
The
He was burned.
fingers, the desiccated fingers, sparkle with jeweled rings, and there's some kind of large amulet around the neck.
Gotcha.
Perhaps a badge of office. It's not clear, but it has a very large red gemstone in it.
And you said the clothes used to be what?
Oh, they used to be very fine.
Oh,
They're obviously they're not in terrible
time
good
has taken its
condition now.
toll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. I will begin
Hey, Claude,
photographing.
are you okay?
It's magnificent.
What is it? What is it?
It's a corpse.
I must
I'm
see it.
going to do something, and I'm
And
going
hello,
to
pro.
and I'm
Yeah.
going to regret it dearly. But I'm going to try to feel the spirit inside.
Spirit
Okay.
inside.
Do your roll. This is a
inside.
fairly high TN, but you might make it.
This makes you wonder how the
Oh
other half
shit! I rolled a
lives.
natural 20.
Oh, nice.
Stella,
He's like, what's up,
you
Stella?
see the head rise up, and the eyes look at you, and you hear, "Why, thank you." And then you see a hideous grin across the face of the thing that you're seeing, the sepulchral thing. The voice was very deep and it seemed to echo from a far distance.
Can I get his name?
Actually, what you get is a fear point.
Okay.
Oh no! See,
And,
every success she makes just makes her more fearful.
and you yell. You yell quite loudly. And when you
Oh,
do,
dang it.
the vision goes away.
What's up, Miss Vinci? Is anything wrong?
Well,
It's the mirror again.
that thing is evil. I couldn't get his name, but it's evil and powerful. And
Okay,
free.
let's close again the casket. Claude,
Okay.
Well, you already broken the word.
oh shit.
I'll look at Charlton and say, I would hate to be you, Charlton.
Why?
Oh, goodness.
I mean, ordering someone to open.
I didn't order you. I did. I just. What are you saying, man?
I'm glad that I bear no responsibility for freeing this thing.
Yeah, sure.
I suppose we can assume that the same is true of the other, so perhaps we should leave it be for the time being. Unless, and I will hand Charlton the wire cutters.
You want to open the other one?
Look what he did. Look what he did.
Oh no, I'm handing you the wire cutters. So, by all means, if you
What if
if you think something different might be found inside.
the other glass case also has a wire and a seal?
It does. This is the one on the right.
This could be his wife.
Well, we are cataloging the. Our job is to catalog, right?
It is.
I break the seal and open.
Okay. It's because you have a strength of 7. Let's have you
I
make a
can't.
roll.
Oh, wow.
The TN is not high, but you're an old
Yeah.
man. You're 62.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
fake some arthritis, so I have to do it again.
I got the one.
Oh my god, no, he's not even gonna fake it, is he?
Yes, no.
Oh,
No, I'm like the evil old guy from The Simpsons, the Mr. Burns. I can't do it.
I'll take over and snap the wires for him.
Okay. Again, you smell that distinctly foul odor, and it goes away.
Yeah, we'll open it up and
Yeah.
wait for Stella to contact the spirit of this thing.
There's nothing there.
Oh,
Nothing.
there's nothing inside?
Nothing.
There is not.
Huh.
You see something that looks like almost like a pillow, And this time, because there's nobody to distract you, you notice that the glass inside the case top, is coated with something. That's probably what was keeping you from seeing inside the case. And if you think about it, you realize, well, the other was coated as well. But there is nothing inside it.
I'll just put my hand inside and try to.
But it was still
to see.
sealed.
Yes.
It was
It
sealed.
was.
Oh,
It was
okay.
sealed.
I'm just gonna put my hand where it would be, like just to make sure it's just not there and we don't see it. Like, I'm just gonna check for the body of what was his name, Alexander Griffith or whatever, the Invisible Man.
So you keep touching, and you don't feel anything.
Oh. Well, this one was sealed empty. That's very strange. And I had that same odor.
But there's a pillow inside?
There is.
Yes, just like with the body in the other one, there it looks like a place for a head to be laid.
I'll move the pillow to see if there's something
like
beneath.
you're looking for the chocolate.
Yeah, beneath the
There is a
yeah, for the
key.
teeth. A key?
There is a key underneath the pillow.
I'll take the key. Is it old?
Is it
It
silver?
does look like an old pattern. It does.
Any writings or symbols on the key?
No,
Is it
you don't
silver?
see anything like that. No, it's like an old iron key from the way it feels and from how it looks.
So this is going to open something.
I look from one to the other, and I'm like, it might be best never to lay in that. I'm guessing.
Does the mirror? Do I remember? Does the mirror has a keyhole? Do I remember that?
Not that you've seen.
Does the mirror here have one?
Yeah.
No, it does not.
Let's catalog the key, and then if we find something it might fit, we can.
Yeah. Come back and.
But
Okay.
we'll lay it out centrally inside the.
The pillow.
Yeah. What else is in the room?
Papers and the mirror.
There is a stack of papers on the left side between the left-hand side display case and the corner bookshelf on the left side.
Yeah, we'll check those papers out, and I expect to read like instructions on using your body swapping machine.
Wait. What? Sorry. Does the display cases or the base where they are standing have a keyhole?
Not that you have seen.
Okay. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, we'll look at the papers.
All right. The papers do appear to be various bills of lading, transportation records of various items that have passed through Belgrade, Istanbul, Munich.
But not Constantinople.
Not Constantinople. Not since the 15th century, anyway.
Prague
It's
also.
none of my business.
But yeah, these all appear to have been destinations in Europe. There's quite a few of them that mention place names in Hungary. Stella would recognize that there's some Cyrillic documents in there, but mostly it's in Latin text, and some of it's in languages you don't recognize. But they definitely have the look of bills of lading, transportation notifications, customs seals, and just all sorts of little things like that in that pile.
Yep, pictures and cataloging.
Okay.
We have a final room.
We still have
You do.
okay. The mirror is the same as the other one. Okay.
Forget the mirror.
Okay.
Yeah, the mirror's just how this thing gets from room to room.
Yeah.
This ghost of her ancestor. She's trying to trick us into reanimating.
That now you're possessed with.
No, no. No, you touched the key, so.
Yeah. It's always my fault.
So you guys leave the room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you find that the door does open just fine. You just have to twist the lever, and you hear the click again where it opens, and you can open the door. And now you're back in the entryway with the very nice black marble floor.
We'll let this door click shut, and then Charlton, if you'll do the honors on the third door.
Yeah. I'll open the final room,
Again, you hear a click.
and I open the door and enter the room.
Okay. What you see before you looks very, very crowded. To your left, the door opens underneath what looks like some bookshelves on the wall. Also, there is there's a small cupboard with some pottery, freestanding cupboard. There's an étagère. I don't know if you guys have heard that term before, but that's like a little stacked thing that has like glass on it. It's shelves, but they're freestanding. And then there's like glass that goes over it. And I'll show you guys a picture sometime. And it's kind of empty. You see scrolls on the floor. You see more bookshelves on the wall across from you. And there is a big double-sided bookshelf, or two of them really, kind of to your right, and a small, tight passageway that leads into a further area in the room.
Well, I'll just go straight for the passageway.
Okay. As you do so, you notice a mirror to your right on the
Okay.
wall.
Same as the other ones.
Exactly.
Okay.
As you pass through the passageway, you're now into an area where you can see a very large statue of a demon on the far wall. There is a set of freestanding shelves, as I mentioned before, with a number of vials filled with fluids of various colors. To the right of the demon statue, to the left of the demon statue, there's another glass-covered series of freestanding shelves. More books up on the wall, and there is here a desk.
Oh. Do I recognize the demon?
You're not sure. It could be a gargoyle. Do you want to make a roll?
Yep.
So this would be an occult check.
Okay. 21.
Okay. So you're pretty sure that this is, in fact, a statue of some kind of demonic totem, like a Goetian demon. It's of a generic variety, but it's very well done and very well executed. And you do not think that this was created for like a cathedral or anything like that. This looks like an occult object.
Now, is it real to? Is it like true to the grimoire? Like it has like a face on its rear, and like it's
No,
weird stuff
this
like
one is nothing strange. It has massive curved horns, wings, clawed hands, and hooved feet.
Is it stone or wood?
Oh, it's definitely stone from what you can see.
Stone.
Maybe a dark gray stone like granite.
I will go to the desk and start
Okay.
there.
What you see on the desk are, at the back of the desks, you see several books just kind of standing up against one another. You see a very elaborate, let's see, hourglass. This is one that's kind of designed that it sits in a frame where it can be very easily flipped without having to actually turn it up to do so.
Mm-hmm.
You see an open book. It's quite a good sized book laying in front of the chair on the desk with a scroll beside it. The scroll is sealed and several papers stacked up. And to the right of the book is a small, dark mirror.
Oh, handheld mirror?
It is a handheld mirror.
Of course it is.
I will. Is it in a holder or is it propped up in some way?
Nope, it's just laying there with the glass up beside the book.
Okay.
It's just a handheld mirror.
I will turn it glass side down, very gingerly,
Okay.
and then begin looking at the large book to see if this is maybe her records, and we can forestall some of the cataloging.
Sorry, Mark. Before we continue, could we? It will be any problem if we stop now? Because
Not for me. I didn't really mean it to go beyond one session, guys, but this is turning out to be more than I thought it would
Yeah,
be.
because I have to get up very early tomorrow.
You have to have
No, I understand.
your brain checked literally
Yes.
today, tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. Yes.
Oh,
Well, this might give me a chance to post some more pictures so you guys can get a better
Yeah.
idea of what you've been looking at.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm getting because Stella is getting now the urge to look into one of those mirrors or pointing it to the
oh, now. Okay. It was all don't look at the
Pointing it to
mirrors, and now you're like, I want.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I must look at the mirror.
Hey, Claude, look.
Oh, I see. I see. Wow.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go lay on the pillow in that case. Like, if we're just gonna kill ourselves in interesting ways. So
Okay,
I guess
so-
we will rebound on the second.
So it sounds like a good place to stop, just as somebody's getting ready to look at the book on the desk, and you've entered the room where it's so stuffed full of books and all sorts of other things. So,
And as a demon,
ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for being with us this evening and watching us play our game. And we will return next week with more of the Bell Accession. And if you have the opportunity, please go to the Red Room store, check out Darker, check out the Red Rules, and remember, the Black Protocol is free. Have a good one.
bye.